Ladies and gentlemen, he's our chairman of the board, captain of the show, Greg Gutfeld!
Shut up! All right, so great show.
All right, enough. I deserve it. So, I guess fire and fury worked.
A dramatic statement that they're talking about. Kim Jong-un is actually talking about total denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. What do you make of that suggestion?
This is actually a moment that very few of us thought we'd ever see.
The president has agreed that he will meet with Kim Jong-un, and it's difficult to overstate the historic nature of this.
John, comb your hair. But that's what normal people call good news. But what about morning beaker?
Is this a deflection?
Of course it's a deflection. Tariffs and North Korea, all to distract from a president that didn't go through the proper channels.
I'm sorry. He looks like Beaker. That's all I see. And of course, the great Rachel is having a moment.
You might think, like another president in this circumstance, you can imagine a president asking himself or herself, why has no other American president ever agreed to do this? Why has no sitting American president ever met with a leader from North Korea? Why has that never happened in all the decades North Korea has existed as a nation? Why hasn't any other president ever done? Should I take that to mean that this might be a particularly risky or even an unwise move?
Why? Why? You know, if it were another president like Obama, you'd be doing cartwheels off a high dive into a swimming pool filled with ambrosia salad. So in sum, if you're looking for a summary of the media's response to all this progress, this does it. Now, obviously, it pays to be skeptical about all of this. But, you know, this is something that could only happen under Donald Trump. Kind of reminds me of a movie.
In a world of uncertainty, two leaders face off in a war of words that terrified the globe.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
Kim Jong-un saying, I will surely and definitely tame the mentally deranged U.S. daughter with fire.
But when talking trash thaws the ice.
North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un has proposed a face-to-face meeting with President Trump.
One man will prove nukes and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you.
We'll see what happens.
While Democrats shove billions in cash to tyrants, kissed commie butt in Cuba, and apologized to the world for being awesome. A man with a plan said, enough. Nude man on a unicorn with a fitness tracker in one hand and a box of Twinkies in the other presents Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, and Dirk Benedict as Face Man. Executive Action 10, Put Up Your Nukes. Now playing in select theaters with a special double feature, Nation's Hall Monitor, I Came, I Saw, I Tattled, starring Brian Stelter as Brian Stelter.
I have a feeling that's going to be a hit. All right. You got to admit, even if you don't like Trump, his effect is hard to deny. So hard that even Vanity Fair admits that Donald's strategy is paying off. Fact is, to control crazy, you got to talk crazy, meaning appear ready to do the unthinkable to get enemies to think twice. It's my theory. Sometimes it pays to be the psycho on the block, screaming at clouds and rubbing dog poo in your hair. Forever, we sat back and watched streets filled with bearded psychos burning our flag and countries run by extremist nutbags who goaded them into a froth of fearful rage. But enough about Berkeley. So we said, with North Korea, we'll take your crazy and raise you triple crazy by electing Donald Trump. You didn't see that coming, did you? Of course, it's still too soon to rejoice, but what's the media's obsession now instead of that?
It has raised among many people the speculation that those photographs might be intimate photographs of the President of the United States. And Mika, I'll hope as you conjure an image of that, I'll try to just urge you not to throw up in your mouth.
If there are naked pictures of Donald Trump, they can go ahead and stay hushed.
Talk about body shaming. As if naked pictures of them would be any better. Fact is, after a certain age, we're all old and weird without our clothes on. It's why I don't own a mirror. The human body is not designed for wear and tear. It's the worst designed product since the spork. But this stormy story is not sticking with the people, just the media. Why? Because we know Donald, and Donald knows Donald. Even he said he's no role model. Finding out Donald Trump slept with an adult film star is like finding out Mike Pence didn't. Not going to blow your mind. And besides, a grown man that's attracted to porn stars, welcome to biology. Anyway, I can see it now. Stormy Daniels, CNN contributor. Of course, the media still can't take a Donald Trump joke, spending days fretting over his comments on the Chinese president having a job for life.
The President of the United States seems to approve of the President of China making himself a president for life, and the President seems to be suggesting that he, too, would like to be a president for life. And we don't know if the American president is making a joke or really means it.
Come on, you know he's kidding. You just need something to rail against as unemployment dips to its lowest in 50 years. Or maybe you don't think Trump is kidding. Maybe you think he's dead serious about everything he says. Sounds like you need this.
Do you have trouble understanding basic humor?
John is great, and she is a great gentleman. He's now president for life. President for life. We'll have to give that a shot someday.
Did you hear that? He just praised the Chinese president for getting rid of term limits and said we should too.
Dude, it was a joke.
No, that is what an evil dictator says.
Please help me.
Sure thing. You should try Laugh It Off.
Sounds dangerous. What is it?
Laugh It Off is a spray you apply directly to the face that penetrates all the way to your brain to help you understand when the president is and isn't joking, so you can preserve your sanity.
My coworker used to scroll through the president's tweets all day and it bummed him out. Then I made him try Laugh It Off. Now look at him. Thanks, Laugh It Off. I guess.
Do you believe that North Korea's recent willingness to talk is sincere, and to what do you owe this recent openness to talk?
Me. Nobody got that.
Don't worry, Mr. President. I get it. Thanks, Laugh It Off.
So try Laugh It Off today, so you can go from this to this. Side effects may include improving your worldview.
All right, let us welcome tonight's guest, Dr. Give Me the News. I got a bad case of loving Drew. Host of the radio show, Dr. Drew Midday Live, Dr. Drew Pinsky. And like a loaf of French bread, she's often half in the bag. Co-host of Dr. Drew Midday Live, Lauren Sivan. And her favorite color is death. National Review reporter, Katherine Timpf. And he flosses with the transatlantic cable, Impact wrestler and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. All right. Let's go to the expert, the doctor. What do you think of my theory that by pretending to be unpredictable, or maybe not pretending, but actually being unpredictable, it worked with Kim?
Well, if it's your theory, Greg, it must be right. First of all, let's start with that. But yeah, I just think Trump is very predictable in being unpredictable. I think he always takes these extreme, scary points of view, lets people react to it, creates a lot of chaos, then thrives on it, and then he's driving back towards some place he actually wants to go using game theory. He uses pretty good game theoretician, but initially he says these very, very scary things and goes to these extremes where you think he's losing his mind, and lo and behold, he reels it back to something where you're happy.
I don't know. Everybody talks about game theory, and I don't. Game theory just means looking at everything like it's a game.
No, it means it's a little more complicated, just a little more.
All right, well, you know what? Next, we'll do an entire hour on that, Sunday nights at 9. Okay, Lauren, you got to kind of admit that, I mean, he's putting the squeeze on North Korea. This might, I mean, look, the guy could be full of crap, the North Korean dictator, so, you know.
She knows somebody that knows him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who?
Well...
A friend went to school with Kim Jong-un.
Oh, really? Tell me about it. Is he a rational human being? Is he a rational actor?
Well, he was a kid in school. He loved his video games, didn't have many friends, and according to this friend, grunted a lot.
Grunted?
So he's sort of...
Wait, are you gruntist? Because I grunt all the time.
Now I am.
Yes.
But think about that. He's one of those kids just playing video games, sort of withdrawn, and that's who he's dealing with.
And now he's a world leader.
But it's going to be a one-on-one sort of negotiation between those two?
No. He, by the way, he sees glass half full with this situation.
This is why we have a show.
If the Twitter preview is anything to come,
yes,
they're going to have a measuring contest within 20 minutes of meeting each other. We know that's going to happen.
And that's a problem? I don't think that's a problem. You know, I do think it's a problem, for the record. You know, Kat, obviously something like this elevates I guess elevates the Kim's stature in the world by having a world leader meet. Is that a really bad thing? But it's something that has to happen, kind of.
See, I was somebody who was not all about the talk of a preemptive nuclear strike.
Yeah.
So I am going to be for the talk about talking.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess maybe, but it really is the best way to go. What I have seen, though, is so many people who were against the talk of nuclear war, this is going to be a disaster, which I agree with, who are now saying, I'm against this talking.
Yes.
This is going to be a disaster. So it's like, okay, you're not really concerned about North Korea. You just want to be against whatever Donald Trump is doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. If it happens, I would commend him for it.
Yeah. All right, Tyrus. From your experience as a professional wrestler, I believe that you might be the expert in this face-off. I mean, they're kind of like professional wrestlers. You got the little scary kid, and you got the big hulking guy.
Which one's the big hulking guy?
I don't know anymore.
We'll give it to Don. He's taller. Mr. President's taller. You know what? Let's forget all that. Let's say they meet, and Donald Trump denuclearizes North Korea. So he gets the Nobel Peace Prize, right?
Right, yeah. I think so. But he probably won't. No, they're going to give it to Obama.
Again.
But can you just imagine?
Yeah.
CNN having to report that?
Yeah.
I guarantee you they will be doing opiates live on CNN.
Yeah. They will need Laugh It Off.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think he's going to talk to him. He's going to, and I think it probably will happen. I think the alternative is worse for North Korea because those sanctions are really hurting them. They're hurting him. His Federal Reserve's almost out. That's his money. Yeah, he's losing his money, and also they're targeting companies, and he's looking for a way out, and this might be a way out. But again, you can't trust a guy like that. You got to, you know. But you trust but verify. You can. The world we live in now, people get political advice from a wrestler. A real estate mogul is our president, and the voice of reason and virtue is a porn star. So I mean, why not? All right, that's a positive note to end this. It's great. We've made it. We have made it. Coming up, the Golden State makes the DOJ irate. That's next. Do we need sanctuary cities from sanctuary cities? The Justice Department is suing the state of California over its so-called sanctuary laws. The DOJ says those laws obstruct federal immigration laws. Jeff Sessions specifically called out the mayor of Oakland, who warned illegals last month that the feds were coming.
How dare you needlessly endanger the lives of our law enforcement officers to promote a radical open borders agenda?
So the mayor of Oakland gave it back to him. I bet she said, "How dare you?"
How dare you distort the reality about declining violent crime in a diverse sanctuary city like Oakland, California, to advance your racist agenda.
Oh, yes. But wait, even Linda Ronstadt's ex-boyfriend, Jerry Brown, piled on.
This is really unprecedented for the chief law enforcement of the United States to come out to California and act more like Fox News than a law enforcement officer.
Fox News, you wish! You wish! Whoever you are. But what's being lost in all of this, the Justice Department isn't doing anything other than enforcing the laws that are already on the books. If you're going to ignore a law because you think it's unjust, then anyone can. And that next law could be against your beliefs. So careful what you're daring people to do. Personally, I'd like my own sanctuary city where I can do anything I want, whenever I want, like dress up like a tiger and work out in the park. I was banned from that park. I don't blame it. It was worth it. Lauren, this sanctuary city, if you could have one, is there any kind you would like for yourself?
Well, I'll be honest, at first, when I heard California was going to create sanctuary cities, I was excited. I thought maybe it was like a discount spa where I could get massages. But now I realize that is not what they're doing.
No.
And even though I'm not a huge fan of Jeff Sessions, I was right there behind him saying, you are obstructing the law. You are giving me the vapors, California.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you, good sir? How dare you? I would have a duel if I could operate a gun.
I will take you on anytime.
Oh, well, then it's a date. We'll meet on the veranda.
Gregory Gutfeld.
We'll have mint juleps. I don't know where this is going, Doctor. I was thinking more about Foghorn Leghorn. I say son. Yeah, listen.
You're in California,
it's
man.
It's a big deal. It's all we talk about on our radio show. This is a big deal. This is insurrection. This is a disregard for the federal law, and that is unconstitutional. We fought a civil war over this very issue. We're talking about nullification. The Civil War started because President Lincoln attempted to provision Fort Sumter, which was his duty as the federal senior officer. He provisioned Fort Sumter. South Carolina fired on them. That was the Civil War. Now here we have California going, we are going to disregard these federal laws no matter what. They can't no matter what. They will lose this suit.
I didn't even know that about the Civil War. I should have paid attention.
To be fair, it all started with the nullification crisis in Andrew Jackson's administration. All right. Forget it.
You're a doctor. Come on.
I know. I shouldn't be talking about this stuff.
All right. I know. What happened?
Dangerous for me. I know.
Tyrus. Thoughts?
Well, the Civil War was really important for me, so I'm really glad it worked out the way I'm working. I'm not chained to this chair right now, so that's really cool. I grew up in California, and it's always something, but I just wish the sanctuary cities were somewhere else. And the great Walter Kern, whenever he's here, he always says the same thing. It needs to be like Montana, New Mexico, Alaska. Those would be great sanctuary cities because you actually get out there and you got to work and it's cold and the environment and it's spread out and there's nobody there.
Yeah, they all pick this.
Because I have a theory.
Yes.
The reason why and here's the thing. Anytime, if you notice, liberals only want to help you when they lead stuff. They never want to just all these big cities that want to have sanctuary cities is also the cities where most of the maids and the gardeners and the stuff like that work because they don't have to pay them. They don't have to pay them the same rates they have to pay American citizens. So it's just convenient to me that they're so worried about these sanctuary cities and they're protecting the rights of these immigrants, but they're actually protecting their own
It's not the rights of the immigrants. You understand something? All they're doing is protecting the rights of convicted felons. Convicted felons cannot be deported. It's insane. We haven't even gotten to what we should do with illegal immigrants.
I hope they do that when I'm convicted. It's fun. This is so it's discriminating. It's discriminating against the American felon. Like the American felon should be first in line.
That's exactly what this is.
So the illegal felon gets cut in line. I can't rob anymore.
That's better than the regular felon.
Yes,
it's an illegal felon.
Exactly.
It's all the way up to the front of the line.
All right, Kat. Thoughts?
Yes, that's my question every time. Obviously, it's a little bit of a complicated legal issue because you also can't force the state and local police to do the federal government's job. But the fact that someone can be a violent criminal and be here illegally, I mean, you don't get to stay. That's absolutely ridiculous, and I can't believe that anybody has a different view than that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I realize my ideal sanctuary city is one where no one can be taller than me. So when you come in, it's going to be just like an amusement park. It'll be a cutout of me, and it'll say, you have to be shorter than Greg.
I'm the only one.
You're the only one.
Resident.
No, yeah.
I will protest this with all that I am.
Yeah. You know, Scott Adams has a good point that Democrats come up with half a plan. They come up with half a plan for everything. It's like they go, oh, we should be compassionate about people to stay here. But then when you try to create a process or a structure, they go, we didn't get that far. They always start with the half a plan, which is why it always ends in disaster.
Or that's unfair.
Or that's unfair.
And how dare you?
Yeah.
We want to get back to how dare you, yes.
What? Nope, hey, gotta go. Whoa. Don't go anywhere, still to come. Free speech comes under fire once again on our college campuses. We report you throw up. It was no bite and all bark at Lewis and Clark. Students at Lewis and Clark College shouted down conservative philosopher Christina Hoff Sommers at a speech she gave at the University Law School. I'd call the student activist, but they didn't seem that organized.
What side are you on, friends? What side are you on? No platform for fascists, no platform at all. And we will fight for justice until Christina's gone. Which side are you on, friends? Which side are you on?
They didn't put any effort into that. It's not even catchy. If you're going to shout down a major thinker like Christina Hoff Sommers, be assertive. Believe in your message, like these guys. See, they're organized. Meanwhile, at Middlebury College, a year ago, students there violently protested against conservative speaker Charles Murray. You remember this. The professor who invited Murray ended up with a concussion. So a year later, the school paper wrote about it, but the editor felt he had to explain why Murray's picture was on the front page of the paper. Why? Because they felt that Murray's image would be traumatizing for the students. The picture of him, what a bunch of asshats. For more on this, we go to one of the students' parents. You should be lucky to have him as a parent. Kat, you've been writing about this stuff for like 30 years, which is amazing.
Before I was born.
Yes.
I'm not 30 yet.
All right. Does debate still exist in America? Is it over?
It's over.
Yes.
I mean, the only time it's traumatizing to see a photo is if it's of your ex-boyfriend and he's smiling. So unless these students dated Charles Murray, which maybe they did, maybe a couple of them dated and things were going great, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden he left them, then I completely understand.
He dumped them over a low IQ.
I completely understand why they would be reacting this way. Otherwise, they have no excuse.
Yes.
Speeches are not violence. Photos of people just sitting there are not violence, and these kids really need to grow up and get over it.
Tyrus? How are these students going to get jobs in the real world if pictures, like if photos scare them?
Okay, let's just ease back a minute. First of all, can you just imagine the protesting planner, the guy who put it together while they were doing that? You know, he was sitting in the van going, oh my God. I told him a million times to shout us, not we. Like, the choreographer probably had to apologize to everyone. We're going to come back out and we're going to try this again. Like, it was literally protested. There wasn't even no effort in it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not the students.
Mm-hmm.
It's the administrator or whoever was in charge of that.
Yeah.
The person, oh, this is going to hurt the children. Really? That's going to hurt the children? An old man side profile, and if you look at all their Facebooks and Instagram, they got a ton of selfies on there that'll scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Opposed to some old guy who didn't even know he was taking a picture, who looked like he was holding on with his last breath. I mean, it's not even, they don't even go to the kids. They're like, I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you some pictures. If anyone needs to offend you, please let me know. They don't even do that. They don't want to deal with it, or they want to make it a big issue. And then someone will be like, oh, it makes us upset. And then they don't even think about, am I upset? I think I'm upset. Yeah, we're upset. Let's protest.
They're indulging these kids, Lauren. What's wrong with this generation?
They have a lot of feelings.
They do.
They have a lot of feelings, and they equate violence with words that they don't like to hear. And so when they heard this racist author, as they're calling him, speaking at their school, they were so against his violent words that they attacked him and the other professor he was speaking with and gave her a concussion to prove how anti-violent they are, Greg.
So true.
They're against violence.
Yes.
These guys need to, first of all, I was in college. Were any of you like even involved in a protest about a speaker on some other department that I wasn't studying? Like, have a natty light. I mean, why are these kids go from protest to protest?
Or if you're going to be engaged, like, don't be. You know, Doctor, this is kind of your wheelhouse. I have because you deal with a lot of young people with problems, and I mean,
well, I mean,
you're working with one.
Right. Yeah, well, there's that. but I find myself disgusted by a lot of things in the world today. This is one of them. We take liberty and freedom for granted. Free speech is the foundation of what we're doing here. I'm a scientist, and I learn in science all the time that lots of things are irrational and don't make sense. That's what being a scientist is, learning to accept things as they are. But you do that through discourse and dialogue and shared ideas. If you break that down, that is fascist. That is where fascism hit the road with fascism. And frankly, this is one of the things that has me gravely concerned. I'm disgusted, but to answer your question, at the core, it is the narcissistic turn we've had. We're all such brittle narcissists that we're hurt to our core. We feel so tiny and little inside. Get over it. Get some grit. Let's get going here. Let's solve problems. I want everyone to join me in the radical middle, Greg. I'm in the radical middle where we solve things pragmatically and we share ideas and we value the First Amendment, and let's get on with business. Come on now.
You know what you're talking about too is that if you eliminate that step between anger and violence, which is dialogue.
It's words.
It's all that's left is violence. That's all, and it's almost as these folks want that. They actually want the violence, and they would probably lose.
It's a weird projection of their own internal violence that they're afraid of. It's their own violence, their own anger. And you know, Lauren pointed that out. That at the end, what do? They violently attack somebody who was just trying to talk.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
All right, I'm so angry I could hit somebody over violence. Still to come, does a universe exist where we all can live forever? The most incredible scientific discovery since the Pop-Tart. Next. Is there a portal to make you immortal? A Berkeley mathematician claims to have found a special type of black hole that you could pass through without being ripped into little pieces. But there's a catch. Your past would evaporate, and you'd be trapped in a parallel universe with an infinite number of futures. Basically, you could live forever because the universe on the other side wouldn't be governed by time and space. It's kind of like a date with Bill Hemmer. So what's this mean? We sent our new correspondent, Mike Van Michaels, into space to look for one of these black holes. Mike, find anything yet?
Yes, Greg, I'm entering the black hole right now, and it is very hot, Greg! It's so hot! Please help me! Oh, God, Greg!
Ugh. Well, I guess we lost Mike there. Sorry about that, everybody.
Hey, Greg, I'm right here on the desk. Yeah, the black hole must have teleported me back to the studio. This is amazing.
That's you? You're on my desk? That's amazing.
Yeah, this is incredible. I can't wait to get home and tell my wife and kids all about this.
You haven't looked in the mirror yet, have you? I hate to break it to you, but it's over for you. Oh. There's a lesson in there somewhere. Not sure where. I feel so bad about doing that to poor Mike.
He's still alive.
He's still alive, but he's in the trash can.
Put him in the trash.
Oh, my goodness. This is very strange, Lauren. And you were telling me in the green room this was your most exciting topic to talk about. Are you worried? You get to erase your past.
Why is everybody obsessed with immortality? I am exhausted. This life is beating me down. I don't want immortality.
Yeah.
I can barely handle what I have on my plate.
Yeah.
I'm not even halfway through. I'm ready to go.
You know why? Because you've lived a full life.
I really have. Got a point.
I mean, you were the Yoga News correspondent. So, Tyrus, excited about a black hole?
So let me get this straight.
Yeah.
So I go through this black hole, and nothing from my past comes with me?
Yes.
Computer history's gone.
Yes.
Child support, alimony, annoying ex-girlfriend text messages, all that stuff's gone. Like, I'm not going to get on the other side and there's going to be a FaceTime message like, why didn't you answer your phone for the last 6 Okay.
It's over.
Yeah, I'm in.
There you go. Dr. Drew.
No way. I'm a biologist. No way. No way. Nope. I love biology. I love the system we're in. I embrace it. Don't screw with everybody. Don't do it. No black holes for me. Yeah, no. No, it's for you.
No
it's
fun.
for you.
It's for you, Kat. It's for you. You would love to erase your past and live forever, because you talk about death all the time.
I do. It would be such a shame if I didn't get a chance to actually do it. I would love to erase my past. It's what I keep telling my therapist that I want to do.
Yeah.
And he keeps telling me, Kat, that's not possible. Well, you were wrong, Dr. Elliott. It is possible. I'm going to fire him and hire one of these math doctors to talk to about my problems, because they're the ones with all the real solutions. No offense, Drew.
No offense taken.
You know, there's a really dark part of this. Okay, if you're living an infinite number of lives, there's a super downside to this, because you could think, oh, well, if there's an infinite number of lives, you could be George Clooney, you could be George Washington, because it's infinite. You will be living all of these lives, but you will also be Jeffrey Dahmer. You will also be Adolf Hitler. That kind of sucks, because right now that would be happening.
Maybe in some respect that's already is.
Well, that's what I think. I think there are parallel universes right now. Plus, here's another theory as I stretch this segment out, since nobody has anything
I'm just waiting for you to finish this, because I just got upset at you.
This makes accidents more valuable and terrifying, because if you can live forever, the only thing that's going to kill you is an accident. So you'll never go outside, because if you go outside, it would really suck if you could live forever, but you die at age 20 because, you know, a safe fell on you.
Okay. Not to mention that, Greg, but you're just assuming everyone's going to have great lives on the other side.
Yes.
What if you're Joe Schmo, the guy who's like middle management and can't get out of it for eternity?
Right. Yes.
You know, maybe it's better to die. And second, are we sure this just isn't the guy who can't get a date and he got kicked off Instagram for inappropriate pictures, so he made up, there's this other universe where you can go and just leave his past behind because nobody will swipe left on his Tinder, you know what I'm saying? Are we sure this isn't just some mathematician who's just really lonely and has made some mistakes?
It could be.
He's going to be my new doctor.
Yeah.
So.
I would like to propose medical marijuana next time we bring up this topic. I think maybe that would have helped this segment.
Although I'm fascinated by
that, and I feel like we should be talking about Stormy Daniels instead of black holes. I mean, I'm just saying, this is how bad we want to avoid Stormy Daniels. We're going to talk about black holes for 10 minutes.
We talked about an A block.
I'm just saying.
What's to talk about? It was 12 years ago. You want to talk about things I did 12 years ago that were a mistake? Get the tissues. Let's do this.
It is true. It was before he was president. It's not like
it doesn't even matter. She accepted the money, and now she wants to talk. You made a deal.
Yeah.
She's the bad guy. She reneged on the deal. I only want to see that. You signed a contract. You got some money, and now you want to talk about it? No, you made a deal.
No.
Why are we not booing her?
Oh, no one cares if the president was with a porn star.
We don't care.
Cover-up that gets you every
12
time.
years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that was interesting. We went from black holes to porn stars. Coming up, he's suspected of being a Russian spy, but has no idea why. Carter Page is here. I'll ask him the question on everyone's mind: why am I so handsome? The FBI thought he was a spy, but was it all a lie? According to the Nunes memo, my favorite memo, my next guest has been the subject of intense surveillance by the Bureau because they suspected him of working with the Russians. There's been plenty of questions surrounding the FISA warrant against him and how it was obtained. But I have more important stuff to ask him. Here with me now is former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Hey, Carter. My first question, every time I see you interviewed, you're always smiling. Why are you always smiling?
I had that spray can. Actually, I was ready.
That's funny. Do you get a lot of fiber? You seem kind of relaxed all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, because it doesn't seem like, I always think when I look at you, you don't seem like a spy to me, which means you could be an amazing spy, right? You're just so happy.
Well, actually, Laura Ingraham picked up on a bit of it because she figured out where I was. Our campaign committee met with then candidate Trump one time, and I was very, very far away. And
Right.
She figured out where.
Where were you?
I can't say exactly, but I'll give you the hint that, let's just say it's closer to North Korea than Washington, where that meeting happened.
Oh, interesting.
But you can ask Laura about that.
I will. We're having lunch tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Not really. Anyway. So, are you a spy?
Well, actually, so on the North Korea front.
That's not a no. Are you a spy?
Well, the North Koreans, they offered a much better deal. It was only $11 billion from the Russians.
Yes.
And they jacked it up a little bit, so that's how I ended up heading in that direction, actually.
So why are they after you?
I think it's because I'm just...
You're very James Bond.
Well, I think, you know, I knew some of the people in the Clinton orbit, and I think they figured out I'd be a pretty easygoing guy in terms of, you know, throwing out all these crazy stories with some of their collaborators in and outside of government. So,
you know what's interesting about this whole Trump phenomenon is that there are people like you. It was like 2 years ago, you were an obscure guy, you know, eating Cheerios in the bathtub, watching reruns of Friends until 6 in the morning.
How'd you know?
I did. Well, I have a camera. I have a camera in your... I'm actually...
on the Pfizer way. Yeah,
I'm actually the Russian spy.
Okay.
But then there's this political earthquake, and everything's changed. And so basically you were an obscure person who's now not a household name, but you're like somebody that shows up everywhere, and you probably have your own Wikipedia page now, though I haven't changed. Has your life changed a lot?
Actually, that Wikipedia page showed up within hours of the fake news stories that the DNC and the Clinton campaign managed to plant in September 2016. So you're right, I was definitely a nobody before then, but.
Now you're a frightened somebody. Are you followed a lot? Like followed by mysterious people in overcoats? Perhaps Lou Dobbs. Lou Dobbs tends to follow people in overcoats. It's a very strange habit he has. But I mean, like I'm sure you have to move around a lot because.
Well, I think because of the domestic terror threats that I was suffering from for a long time. But that's the beauty of all these memos that are coming out. I think people are starting to realize what a complete joke this whole process has been. So thus a perfect place to be discussing here on this show.
Yes, I'm very glad that you showed up here. And because I asked the hard-hitting questions that nobody else does, like, are you a spy? Nobody asked that. By the way, where is your lawyer? Like, your lawyer allows you just to go everywhere? He's having a nervous breakdown.
Actually, I've been studying the law. You know, I was never very interested in the law. I always followed it and was sort of in one.
I don't know if that's really a good criteria for defending yourself.
Well, but, you know, with the civil rights abuses I suffered, there really became a great interest of mine. And actually, it's per that last panel or the last segment you had about First Amendment on college campuses. I actually I've been doing a big research project on FISA abuse and the First Amendment, and I was originally planning to speak at a conference at Yale Law School. But you can imagine how that went over. So it ended up getting the axe.
The audience feels sad for you.
Actually, it's the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I had a couple of invites for that. So maybe, you know.
Are you going to go? I might see you there. I don't know. Who invited you?
A few people. We'll see.
Interesting. Russians?
Definitely not Russian. Although there's...
Why do you spend so much time in Russia anyway? It's those nesting dolls. Everybody loves those nesting dolls.
Yeah.
Are you selling, like, illegal nesting dolls? Is that what this is?
That's actually the only theory that hasn't been tried as of yet, so we may need to look into that.
I think you've been trafficking in illegal nesting dolls. I happen to collect nesting dolls. By the way, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Inevitably, there's going to be a movie made about you. I had some ideas of who could play you in the movie. Samuel Jackson, I think, could be good. I thought maybe Jennifer Lawrence, because it's like, why stick to gender? And then, but of course, I thought Paul Giamatti, because, you know, he's everybody's character actor. Is there anybody you'd like to play you?
The only suggestion I had heard is Bruce Willis, and I think it's just because of the haircut, which goes back to your question about the good looks. So,
you're natural.
Does it.
I was thinking more of the guy that plays James Bond. What's his name? Craig. Daniel Craig. I almost said Roger Craig. He's a running back from the 49ers from 20 years ago. My mind is blown. Carter Page, always a pleasure to see you for the first time.
Definitely, Greg.
I hope something bad does not happen to you. I hope that you safely get to your car and back to your hotel on 43rd Street and 5th. I'm joking. That was to throw the scent off. It's actually at the Best Western downtown. All right, I don't hold grudges, but if you leave now, I will never forgive you. All right, we don't have much time. Dr. Drew, pay attention. Tell us about your new radio show with Lawrence Sivan.
Lawrence Sivan night, noon to 3, Monday through Friday. You can check it out over on KGO and KBC 790 in Los Angeles. You can get it at my website, doctor.com, to listen to a podcast, or at kbc.com.
You take callers?
Yeah.
Excellent, because I got some serious problems. All right.
I was noticing.
Yes. All right, thank you, Dr. Lawrence Sivan, Carter Page, Kat Timpf, Tyrus, studio audience. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I love you, America.
I'm Jesse Waters. We're listening to President Trump speak in Pennsylvania. Let's continue to see what he has to say.